I stand alone in the bridal suite at Ravenswood Estate Winery, staring at my reflection in the full-length mirror. My wedding dress fits perfectly, every seam and crystal exactly where it should be. The makeup artist outdid herself. My eyes look wider, my cheekbones more defined, my lips the perfect shade of rose. The white roses in my bouquet rest on the vanity, their sweet perfume filling the air, waiting. I check my phone for the 14th time in 20 minutes. No messages from Mother, nothing from Father, not even a text from Derek. The screen remains blank, accusatory in its emptiness. My thumb hovers over Mother's contact for a moment before I force myself to set the phone down. A soft knock at the door breaks the silence. Helen, the wedding planner, pokes her head in, her practiced smile barely hiding her concern. The crease between her eyebrows deepens as she takes in my posture, the way I'm clutching my phone like a lifeline. "It's time, Isabelle. Are you ready?" My eyes drift to the window overlooking the ceremony space. 90 guests are seated in neat white chairs arranged in perfect rows on the manicured lawn. The string quartet plays softly, the melody of Pachelbel's canon drifting through the spring air. Purple wisteria hangs from the arbor where I'll take my vows. And in the front row, 3 empty seats stare back at me like accusations. They're not coming, are they? My voice trembles despite my best efforts. Helen's smile falters. She steps fully into the room, closing the door softly behind her. "There's still time," she says, but we both know it's a lie. The ceremony was supposed to start 10 minutes ago. We've already delayed as long as we reasonably can. I take a deep breath and smooth the silk of my gown, feeling the delicate fabric slide beneath my palms. The dress cost more than I should have spent, but I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted them to see me as beautiful, as worthy, as someone who mattered. Let's go. The doors to the garden open, and 90 heads turn to watch me walk alone down the aisle. I feel their sympathetic gazes like physical touches, little pats of pity that make my skin crawl. Some whisper behind cupped hands. Others offer encouraging smiles that only make the hollow feeling in my chest expand. I recognize faces as I pass, colleagues from my startup, college friends who flew across the country, Marcus's extended family who have been nothing but warm to me. Aunt Patricia, my father's sister, dabs at her eyes with a tissue. She's the only blood relative in attendance, and even she looks uncomfortable, caught between loyalty to her brother and sympathy for me. My focus narrows to Marcus waiting at the altar, resplendent in his charcoal gray suit. His eyes are steady on mine, deep brown and filled with a love so fierce it nearly breaks me. The love radiating from him is almost enough to push away the memory of Mother's voice 3 days ago. "We'll try, sweetie. Derek's firm has an event that weekend, and you know how important his career is." Mother's dismissive tone had cut through the phone like she was declining a casual lunch invitation, not her only daughter's wedding. "I can pay for the flights," I'd offered, desperation clawing at my throat. "The hotel, anything. Please, Mother." In the background, Father's voice had drifted through. "Tell her we're busy, Anne. Derek needs us there. His partners will be present." Now, placing one foot in front of the other, I force myself to breathe. In, out, one step, another step. The aisle seems impossibly long, stretching before me like a test I'm failing with each forward movement. I will not cry, I will not give them the satisfaction, even in their absence. When I reach Marcus, he takes my hands in his. His fingers are warm, solid, real. The calluses on his palms from his carpentry hobby press against my skin, grounding me in this moment. "I'm here," he whispers, too low for anyone else to hear. "We're enough." For a moment, I'm 8 years old again, standing in our living room in the house on Mercer Island while Mother and Father fuss over Derek's debate trophy. They position it carefully on the mantel, step back to admire it from different angles, take photos to send to relatives. My art contest certificate sits forgotten in a kitchen drawer. I'd shown it to them earlier that day, pride bubbling up as I explained how Mrs. Chen said I had exceptional talent, that my watercolor of the cherry blossoms in our backyard showed a maturity beyond my years. Mother had glanced at it and said, "That's nice, honey. before turning back to the dinner she was preparing. She didn't even read the part about first place in the district competition. Later, Father had ruffled my hair absently. Derek needs more support. He's going places, he'd explained when I asked why they went to all his events, but missed my art showcase. You understand, don't you, Isabelle? Your brother has real potential. Art is just a hobby. And Mother, never missing an opportunity. Why can't you be more like your brother? He focuses on what matters. These little contests won't pay the bills someday. I'd tried harder after that. Academic awards, college scholarships, business success. Each achievement was a desperate attempt to turn their heads in my direction. National Merit Scholar. Full ride to the University of Washington. Summa cum laude graduation. Each one noted with distracted acknowledgement, if acknowledged at all, while Derek's mediocre law school acceptance to a third-tier school received a celebration dinner at the best restaurant in Seattle. The ceremony continues around me. The officiant, a kind woman with silver hair, speaks about love and commitment. I say my vows, my voice growing stronger with each promise. I choose a future based on seeing each other clearly, I tell Marcus. The words carry more weight than anyone but he understands. I promise to celebrate your victories, to hold your hand through defeats, and to never make you invisible. His eyes glisten. He understands every word's double meaning. When the officiant pronounces us husband and wife, Marcus's mother, Eleanor, envelops me in a warm embrace. She smells like lavender and vanilla, comforting and maternal in a way my own mother never was. You're one of us now, dear, she whispers, and something tight in my chest loosens just a fraction. We see you. We've always seen you. The photographer captures us on the dance floor, Marcus twirling me under the string lights as the sun sets over Puget Sound. His cousins join us, forming a circle of laughter and music. His sister Amanda loops her arm through mine and tells me about family traditions I'm now part of. For moments at a time, I forget about the family-shaped hole in my celebration. I forget about the phone I've checked too many times. I forget about the explanations I've given to curious guests who asked about my parents. At the reception, Rachel, my college roommate, raises her glass during the toasts. Her red hair catches the candlelight as she stands. To finding the family who deserves you, she says, her eyes holding mine with fierce loyalty. To Isabelle, who has always been extraordinary, even when certain people were too blind to notice. A murmur of agreement ripples through the crowd. Several of Marcus's relatives nod emphatically. The truth of her words hits me like a physical blow. All these years, I've been invisible to the people who should have seen me most clearly. I've been chasing approval from those who never intended to give it. When the celebration quiets for a moment, I slip away to the powder room and check my phone one last time. No missed calls, no messages, not even a token congratulations. Just a notification that Derek has posted on Instagram. A photo of him and Father at a golf course, both grinning widely. The caption reads, "Quality time with the old man. Father-son, Sunday, blessed." My wedding is on a Saturday. Marcus finds me there, staring at the blank screen, at my brother's smug face on social media. He gently takes the phone from my hands and powers it off. They missed something beautiful today, he says, wrapping an arm around my waist. Look at me, Isabelle. I look up at him, at the man who has never once made me feel like I needed to earn his attention, who brings me coffee in bed not because I asked, but because he knows I love it, who listens to my ideas with genuine interest, who celebrates my victories with unrestrained joy. I think of his family, who welcomed me without reservation. I think of friends who traveled across the country to stand beside me. I think of the life we're building, foundation by foundation, brick by brick. Their choice, I say, feeling lighter than I have in years, not my burden. And for the first time, I almost believe it. 2 years later, I lean back in my ergonomic chair in my corner office, staring at the computer screen. The words blur together for a moment before snapping into sharp focus. Acquisition of Horizon Media Group, finalized at $21 million. 2 years of negotiation, 5 years of building from scratch, and now validation in the form of 8 figures. My digital marketing agency started in a studio apartment with nothing but a laptop and determination. Now we occupy an entire floor of a building in downtown Seattle, glass walls offering panoramic views of Elliott Bay. My office door bursts open as my team floods in with bottles of champagne and plastic flutes. Claire, my creative director, leads the charge, her purple-streaked hair bouncing as she practically skips across the threshold. "To Isabelle!" She raises her glass, foam spilling over the rim. The woman who built something from nothing while certain people weren't looking. I smile, clinking glasses with 12 people who actually showed up for me, unlike my family. We're celebrating, passing around the bottle, laughing at inside jokes about the difficult clients we've conquered, the campaigns that exceeded expectations, the late nights that led to this moment. We're mid-toast when my phone buzzes against my desk. A notification from Instagram. I shouldn't look. I know I shouldn't look. It's been 2 years since the wedding, 2 years of carefully constructed boundaries and deliberate distance. I look anyway. Derek is posting about his twin daughters' private school fundraiser. My nieces, whom I've met exactly twice. There they are, mother and father flanking Derek and his wife Amber. Their identical daughters, Grace and Gabrielle, wear matching plaid uniforms with navy blazers. The caption reads, "Family tradition continues. Third generation at Pembroke Preparatory. Proud Papa moment. Family, legacy, Tarbiak Private School." Father's arm is draped around Derek's shoulder, his hand gripping tight like Derek might slip away if he loosens his hold. Mother beams at her granddaughters, her face alight with a joy I've never seen directed at me, even in photographs. I swipe through more photos, each one a small knife to the ribs. Derek's family vacation to Santorini last month, whitewashed buildings and brilliant blue water. The holiday gathering I wasn't invited to, everyone clustered around a table laden with food. Father's retirement party at a country club, 75 people celebrating a milestone I learned about on Facebook. In each photo, they look like the perfect American family, minus one daughter. What's more telling than the photos themselves is what they represent. The vacation rental in Santorini costs at least $8,000 per week for a property that size. Pembroke Preparatory runs $35,000 per year per child, and that's just tuition, not including the mandatory enrichment fees and donations. Derek's house in the background of several shots sits in Madison Park, where nothing sells for under $2.5 million. All funded by my parents' retirement savings and family investments, according to the gossip from Aunt Patricia, who occasionally remembers I exist. Derek's wife doesn't work, she'd mentioned at Christmas last year, the only family gathering I'd attended in the past 24 months. "Your mother helps with the girls 3 days a week. She's completely devoted to them." The message was clear. Mother had time for grandchildren, just not for me. "Isabelle!" Claire touches my arm, concern creasing her forehead. "We lost you for a minute. You okay?" I lock my phone screen, the image of my father's proud smile disappearing into darkness. Just checking messages. Where were we? The celebration continues around me, but I'm mentally calculating. Derek's law firm is moderately successful, but nowhere near the level that would support his lifestyle. He specializes in contract law for small businesses, respectable but not lucrative. The average partner in a firm that size makes perhaps $200,000 annually, comfortable but not wealthy. Not wealthy enough for Santorini vacations and private school for twins and a house in Madison Park. My parents have been quietly propping him up for years, depleting their retirement to maintain his image. I know because Aunt Patricia let it slip during one too many glasses of wine. Your father cashed out his pension early, penalties and all, but Derek needed help with the down payment. Meanwhile, my $21 million acquisition doesn't warrant so much as a text message. After the team leaves, champagne bottles empty and laughter fading down the hallway, I scroll through my parents' social media, the digital chronicle of my erasure. Hundreds of posts about Derek's accomplishments, real or imagined. The twins' milestones, from first steps to first days of school. Family gatherings at holidays, birthdays, random Sundays. My existence is limited to a single birthday wish last year, posted at 11:47 p.m., like Mother suddenly remembered. Happy birthday, Isabelle. No photo, no emoji, no elaboration. 31 words across 30 years of life. I close my laptop and make a decision. Something shifts inside me, a plate tectonic movement of the soul. The next morning, I call my financial advisor. The Porsche Taycan, metallic gray. I want to complete the purchase today. He pauses, and I can hear him typing. That's $135,000, Isabelle. Are you sure? It's a significant purchase. I've just sold my company for $21 million, I say, looking out my window at the Seattle skyline. I think I can afford a car. 3 hours later, I'm signing paperwork at the dealership. The salesman, a middle-aged man named Tom who's trying too hard to be friendly, walks me through the vehicle's features. Adaptive cruise control, premium sound system, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. But what I'm really buying isn't transportation. It's visibility. It's proof. It's a middle finger wrapped in German engineering and electric motors. I post a single photo on social media. Me leaning against the hood of the Porsche, the Seattle waterfront behind me, the caption simple. Hard work pays off. New car, entrepreneur life. Dreams come true. Within an hour, Derek's wife Amber has sent me a direct message. Wow, must be nice. Some of us have priorities other than material things. Family comes first for us. I delete it without responding. Let them think what they want. Let them spin narratives about my selfishness, my materialism, my lack of family values. They've been writing those stories about me for 30 years. The difference is, I'm no longer listening. The phone call comes 6 months later, just as I'm reviewing applications for the Luminary Foundation, the scholarship program I've launched for young women in creative fields. Girls like I once was, hungry for validation and support. Isabelle, it's Mother. I nearly dropped my phone. We haven't spoken since 3 days before my wedding, since the conversation where she chose Derek's networking event over my marriage ceremony. 29 months of silence, broken on a random Tuesday afternoon. Hello. My voice is careful, neutral. I've learned to guard my tone, to give away nothing. We saw your post about the car. A pause. That's quite an expensive vehicle. Not congratulations on your success. Not we're proud of you. Just judgment about my spending, of course. It's a good car, I say simply. Was there something you needed, Mother? Derek mentioned you sold your little company. Another pause. For quite a sum. My little company. 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears reduced to a diminutive. 12 employees who depend on me. Clients across 3 countries. But sure, my little company. 21 million, I confirm. It was a good deal. Well? Mother's voice takes on a certain tone, the one she uses when she's building toward something. Your father and I have been thinking. Derek's firm has been struggling a bit, what with the economy and all. We were wondering if you might be willing to invest. Help your brother out. Family should support family after all. There it is. Not congratulations, not celebration, just the ask, the demand, the expectation that I'll hand over my hard-earned success to prop up my brother's mediocrity. How much is Derek short? I ask, already knowing I won't help, but curious about the audacity. 200,000 would get him through the rough patch, Mother says quickly, like she's been waiting for the question. It's just temporary, of course. He'd pay you back. $200,000. More than I paid for my car, more than most people make in 4 years. Just a casual request, like asking to borrow a cup of sugar. No, I say simply. Excuse me? No, I won't be investing in Derek's firm. I have my own plans for my money. Isabelle! Mother's voice goes sharp, the tone that used to make me scramble to appease her. He's your brother. Family comes first. Surely you can spare... Like how family came first when you skipped my wedding. The words are out before I can stop them. Tell Derek to manage his own finances. I have to go. I hang up before she can respond, my hands shaking. Eleanor, Marcus's mother, who's been helping me with foundation paperwork, looks up from the conference table in my home office. That sounded difficult, she says gently. My mother. I set the phone down, face down, like I can hide from it. Wants me to give Derek $200,000. And you said no. I said no. Eleanor smiles, pride evident in her expression. Good for you, sweetheart. Setting boundaries is healthy. But the call rattles me more than I want to admit. I'm still raw from it when Marcus comes home that evening, his architect's portfolio under his arm. He takes one look at my face and knows. What happened? I tell him about the call, about Mother's assumption that my success exists to support Derek's failures. Marcus listens, his jaw tightening with each detail. They're unbelievable, he says when I finish. After everything, after not even showing up to our wedding, she has the nerve. I keep wondering if I'm being petty. I sink onto the couch, exhaustion washing over me. Maybe I should help. Maybe I'm the bad person here. Isabelle. Marcus sits beside me, taking my hand. What would you tell Sophia if her family treated her like yours treated you? Sophia, one of my first scholarship recipients, a talented photographer whose parents wanted her to become an accountant. I think of her sitting in my office, tears streaming down her face, as she described feeling invisible in her own home. I'd tell her she deserves people who see her worth, I say quietly. Exactly. So why do you hold yourself to a different standard? It's a question I can't answer. Or maybe I can, but the answer is too painful, because I still hope they'll change, because I still want them to wake up one day and realize what they've been missing, because I still want to matter to them. The realization sits heavy in my chest. I think, I say slowly, I need to really let go. Not just say I have, but actually do it. Marcus nods. What does that look like? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. The foundation becomes my answer, the luminary foundation for young women in the arts. I pour my energy into creating something meaningful, something that would have changed my life if it had existed when I was 18, and desperate for someone to believe in me. We offer full scholarships, mentorship programs, and professional development, not just money, but actual support. I personally interview each applicant, reading their essays, reviewing their portfolios, seeing the hunger in their eyes that I recognize from my own past. Sophia becomes our first major success story. Her photography series on immigrant experiences gets picked up by a national magazine. When she gives her first gallery show, I'm there in the front row, watching her mother's shocked face as strangers praise her daughter's work. You did this, Sophia whispers to me during the reception. You made this possible. You did the work, I correct. I just held the door open. But it feels like more than that. It feels like rewriting history, like giving these young women what I never had, unconditional support from someone who believes in their potential. The foundation grows quickly. Within a year, we're supporting 15 young women. By year 2, 30. The applications pour in from across the country, each one a story of talent overlooked, potential dismissed, dreams deferred. I read every single one. It's during this work that Marcus and I make another decision. We're not having children, not because we don't want them, but because we're both certain. My energy is channeled into the foundation, into these young women who need champions. Marcus is climbing in his architecture firm, designing sustainable buildings that win awards. We're building something together, he says one evening as we review applications. Just not what your parents expected. Definitely not what they expected, I agree. When I announce the foundation at a Seattle Center for the Arts Gala, the local media picks it up. Suddenly I'm being interviewed, profiled in business magazines, invited to speak at events. The headline in Seattle Magazine reads, From Invisible to Invaluable. Isabelle Morrison's Journey from Family Scapegoat to Philanthropic Force. The article is unflinching in its honesty. I don't hide my history. I talk about my parents' absence from my wedding, about growing up in my brother's shadow, about the pain of never being enough. I'm creating opportunities I wish I'd had, I tell the interviewer. These young women deserve to be seen for who they are, not compared to someone else's expectations. The article goes viral in philanthropic circles. Donations pour into the foundation. Other business leaders reach out about partnership opportunities. And my parents remain silent, not until Derek's business finally collapses. It happens on a Wednesday morning. I'm in my office when Aunt Patricia calls, her voice tight with stress. Isabelle, I thought you should know. Derek's firm is filing for bankruptcy. It's bad, really bad. What happened? Mismanagement, from what I understand. He made some risky investments with client funds. It's actually illegal what he did. There might be criminal charges. My first feeling isn't satisfaction. It's something sadder, more complicated. Of course Derek couldn't sustain the image they'd all built around him. Of course the golden child was actually tarnished underneath. How are Mother and Father handling it? Not well. They've lost everything, Isabelle. Everything they put into Derek's business, their retirement savings. The house on Mercer Island is being sold to cover debts. They're going to have to move into a small apartment in Renton. I should feel triumphant. I should feel vindicated. Instead, I just feel tired. That's unfortunate, I say carefully. Derek's wife left him, took the girls. Your mother is devastated. I'm sorry to hear that, Patricia. There's a long pause. I think they might reach out to you, Isabelle, for help. I see. What will you tell them? It's a good question. What will I tell them? That I'm not their safety net? That consequences exist? That I can't save them from the very situation they created by enabling Derek's mediocrity? I'll tell them the truth, I say finally, whatever that turns out to be. The call comes 2 days later. Father this time, not Mother. His voice sounds older, defeated in a way I've never heard before. Isabelle, I imagine you've heard about Derek's situation. I have. It's been difficult, for all of us. I wait. I've learned that silence is sometimes the most powerful response. We were wondering, he clears his throat. That is, your mother and I were hoping you might be willing to help, financially, just until we get back on our feet. How much? Well, we've lost the house, and Derek's legal fees are substantial. If you could spare perhaps $500,000. I actually laugh. I can't help it. The sound is bitter, harsh, even to my own ears. $500,000. You have the money, Isabelle. We know you sold that company. Surely family. Family? Let's talk about family, Father. Do you remember my wedding? Silence. Do you remember the art show when I was 8? The scholarship ceremony? My college graduation? Any of the moments that mattered to me? Now, Isabelle. No, I'm talking now, and you're going to listen for once. My voice is steady, certain. For 33 years, I've watched you pour everything into Derek. Your time, your money, your attention, your pride. I've been invisible while you celebrated his mediocrity. You missed my wedding because he had a networking event. A networking event, Father. We were trying to help him succeed by ensuring I felt like a failure. That was your strategy? More silence. In the background, I can hear Mother crying. I'm sorry, Father says quietly. We should have been there. We should have done better by you. Yes, you should have. But apologies don't erase 33 years of neglect. So you won't help us? The question is so perfectly indicative of who they are, who they've always been. Not, can you forgive us, or how do we fix this? Just, will I give them money? I'll make you an offer, I say. I'll cover your basic living expenses for 1 year. Rent, utilities, food, nothing extravagant, but enough to live on. But there are conditions. What conditions? First, you both start therapy. Weekly sessions with a licensed therapist. I'll pay for it, but you have to go. Second, Derek gets no money from me, period. He's an adult who made his own choices. Third, you admit, publicly, that you failed me as parents. Post it on social media, where you've spent years showcasing Derek while erasing me. That's unreasonable. Those are my terms. Take them or leave them. Father sputters, fumbles for words. I need to discuss this with your mother. You have 48 hours to decide. After that, the offer expires. I hang up, my heart racing. Marcus, who's been sitting quietly in the corner of our living room, walks over and wraps me in a hug. "I'm proud of you," he whispers. "I might have just cut them off completely." Maybe that's what needs to happen. He's right, of course, but it still hurts in a way I didn't expect. Some part of me still hoped for a different ending to this story. The 48 hours pass. No call, no message. I assume they've decided to refuse my terms, to preserve their pride, rather than accept help with conditions. Then, on the third day, a notification appears on my phone. A public post from my father's Facebook account. It's time I was honest with myself and with everyone who's followed our family journey over the years. I failed my daughter, Isabelle. Her mother and I both did. We prioritized one child's success at the expense of the other's well-being. We missed important moments in Isabelle's life, including her wedding, because we couldn't see past our own expectations and desires. She built an incredible life and career despite our neglect, not because of our support. I don't know if she'll ever forgive us, but we're going to try to do better, starting with the truth. I read it 3 times. The post has comments already, dozens of them. Some supportive, others shocked, a few calling him brave for his honesty. My phone rings. Father. "I saw the post," I say before he can speak. "We'll do the therapy too. Your mother has already found someone. We start next week." "And Derek?" "Derek is on his own, as he should have been years ago." Okay. "I'll set up the financial support. You'll receive a monthly allowance deposited directly into an account I'll establish. It's enough to live on, but not extravagantly. The arrangement lasts for 1 year, with possible extension if you're making genuine progress in therapy." "Thank you, Isabelle." "Don't thank me yet. You haven't done the work." But something in his voice makes me think maybe, just maybe, he's ready to try. 6 months after Father's post, I receive an unexpected email. The subject line reads, "You need to know the truth." The sender is Amber, Derek's ex-wife. My heart races as I open it. "Isabelle, I've been debating whether to send this for weeks, but you deserve to know what really happened. Derek has been manipulating your relationship with your parents for years. I found emails on his old computer when I was packing. He's been intercepting messages your mother tried to send you, deleting voicemails, even lying to your parents about things you supposedly said about them. There's so much more. Can we meet?" I stare at the screen, my mind reeling. Intercepting messages? What messages? I call Marcus immediately. "You need to read this." We sit together on our couch, reading and rereading Amber's email. Each word rewrites the story I thought I knew. "This could change everything," Marcus says quietly. "If Derek was actively sabotaging your relationship with them, it doesn't excuse 30 years of neglect." "No, but it explains some things. Maybe they tried more than you knew. Maybe Derek made sure those attempts never reached you." I arranged to meet Amber at a coffee shop near Green Lake. She looks exhausted, thinner than the last time I saw her at a family gathering years ago. She brings a manila folder, thick with printed emails. "I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner," she says, sliding the folder across the table. "He was so good at making everything seem normal, at explaining away inconsistencies." I open the folder. The first email is from my mother to Derek, dated 3 months before my wedding. "Please give Isabelle our travel details. We're so excited to be there for her special day. I can't believe our baby girl is getting married." Derek's response, "I'll pass it along, Mom." He never did. The next email is from my mother again, 6 weeks before the wedding. "Derek, I still haven't heard from Isabelle about the rehearsal dinner schedule. Is she upset with us about something?" Derek's response, "She's been really busy with wedding planning. You know how she gets when she's stressed. I'd give her some space if I were you." I feel sick. There are dozens more. Mother asking Derek to have me call her. Father wanting to know if I'd received the birthday gift they sent. I hadn't. Messages about family gatherings where Derek claimed I was too busy or had declined the invitation. "This one is the worst," Amber says quietly, pointing to an email dated 1 week before my wedding. It's from my mother to Derek. "Your father and I are concerned. Isabelle told you she doesn't want us at the wedding? After everything we've done for her? I don't understand. Did we do something wrong?" Derek's response, She said it's too painful to have you there, that you remind her too much of her own inadequacies. She wants her day to be about her success, not about the family. I think we should respect her wishes, as much as it hurts. He told them I didn't want them there, I whisper. He made them believe I uninvited them. There's more. Amber flips through the folder. Bank statements showing he took money from a trust fund your grandmother left you. Forged your signature on documents. He's been stealing from you for years, and using the money to maintain his lifestyle while making your parents think they were funding him. The betrayal is so complete, so comprehensive, that I can barely process it. Derek didn't just neglect me. He actively destroyed my relationships, stole my inheritance, and manipulated everyone in my family to maintain his golden child status. Why are you showing me this? I ask Amber. She looks down at her hands. Because I have daughters. Grace and Gabrielle. And I see Derek trying to play them against each other already. Praising one, dismissing the other, creating competition where there should be love. I can't let him do to them what he did to you, but I also can't let you live with a false narrative about your parents. They're not innocent, Isabelle. They enabled him. They failed to see what was happening. They made choices that hurt you. But some of their absence was manufactured by Derek. I take the folder home and spend the evening going through every document. Marcus reads over my shoulder, his anger building with each revelation. You need to show your parents, he says. They need to know what he did. Do I? Isabelle. What difference does it make now? Showing them doesn't change the past. It doesn't erase the years of feeling invisible. No, but it gives context. It explains why some of their attempts to reach out failed. They're in therapy, trying to do better. They deserve to know the full truth. He's right, of course, but I'm terrified of what this knowledge means. If Derek sabotaged my relationship with my parents, if he stole from me, if he systematically destroyed any chance I had of family connection, then I have to reckon with the fact that some of my pain was inflicted not by neglectful parents, but by a malicious brother, and somehow that's worse. Neglect is passive, easier to distance myself from, but Derek's actions were active, intentional, cruel. He saw me and chose to make me invisible. He understood my pain and decided to increase it. I call my parents the next morning and ask them to come to my home office. They arrive together, looking nervous. Mother's hair has gone more gray in the 6 months since Father's post. Father moves more slowly, like he's aged a decade in months. Thank you for coming, I say, gesturing to the chairs across from my desk. I have something to show you. I slide the folder across the desk. Derek's ex-wife found these on his computer. I think you should read them. I watch their faces as they go through the documents. Mother goes pale, her hands shaking as she reads. Father's jaw tightens, a muscle twitching in his cheek. He told us, Mother starts, her voice breaking. He said you didn't want us at the wedding, that you'd specifically asked us not to come. I never said that. I wanted you there more than anything. Father looks up, tears streaming down his face. It's the first time I've ever seen him cry. All those times we called Derek to ask about you, and he said you were too busy. The gifts we sent that you never acknowledged. I never received them. He made sure of that. The trust fund, Mother whispers, looking at the bank statements. Your grandmother specifically left that for you. She wanted you to have security, to pursue your art. $50,000, and he just took it? Forged my signature on the transfer documents, I confirm. Used it as a down payment on his house. They sit in silence, processing. The weight of Derek's betrayal settles over all of us like a shroud. Finally, Father speaks. This doesn't excuse us. We still failed you. We still prioritized him, still made you feel invisible, but at least now we understand how he manipulated the situation to make it worse. What do you want to do? I ask. What do you mean? Derek committed fraud, forged my signature, stole from my trust fund. We could press charges. Mother and Father exchange glances. Something passes between them, a silent conversation married couples have. That's your decision, Father says quietly. He's our son, but he's committed crimes against you. We won't protect him anymore. The statement is revolutionary in its simplicity. After 33 years of protection, of enabling, of choosing Derek's comfort over truth, they're finally stepping back. I'll need time to think about it, I say. But I wanted you to know the truth. All of it. Mother reaches across the desk, her hand trembling. I look at it for a long moment before taking it. Her skin is papery, thin, aged by stress and regret. I'm so sorry, she whispers, for all of it, for every moment we failed to see you, for every time we chose him, for the wedding we missed, for 33 years of making you feel like you didn't matter. I'm sorry too, Father adds. We can't undo it, but we'd like to try to move forward if you're willing. Not to rebuild what was, because that was broken from the start, but to build something new. I look at my parents, really look at them, for the first time in years. They're smaller than I remember, diminished by age and consequences. The power they held over me for so long has evaporated, leaving behind two flawed humans who made terrible choices. I'm willing to try, I say finally, but it has to be real. No more golden children, no more comparisons, no more excuses for Derek. No more excuses, Father agrees. It's not forgiveness, not yet, but it's a beginning, a tiny, fragile beginning. I decide not to press criminal charges against Derek, not because he doesn't deserve it, but because I don't want to spend years of my life entangled in legal proceedings, reliving his betrayals in courtrooms. Instead, I focus my energy on the foundation, on building something positive from the ashes of family dysfunction. The Luminary Foundation grows exponentially. By year 4, we're supporting 50 young women annually. Sophia, my first scholarship recipient, is now a staff photographer at National Geographic. She visits the foundation regularly, mentoring younger students, paying forward the support she received. You gave me permission to be seen, she tells a group of new recipients during an orientation session. That's the greatest gift. Not the money, not even the connections. Just the simple acknowledgement that my talent mattered. I watch from the back of the room, feeling the kind of pride I imagine parents should feel. This is my legacy, not children of my own, but a network of young women who will go out into the world and create beauty, tell stories, make art that matters. Mother and father attend some foundation events. They come quietly, sitting in the back, never drawing attention to themselves. After one gallery opening featuring our students' work, Mother approaches me hesitantly. That young woman's paintings, she says, pointing to Sophia's series on immigrant experiences. They remind me of your watercolors when you were young. The cherry blossoms. I'm stunned that she remembers. You remember those? Of course I remember. You were so talented, Isabelle. I see that now. I always saw it, but She struggles for words. I was afraid. Art seemed so uncertain, so risky. I wanted security for you, and I conflated security with invisibility. It's the most honest thing she's ever said to me. I'm doing okay, I tell her. The art led to digital marketing, which led to the company, which led here. It all connected. Because of your talent, despite our neglect, not because of our support. Yes. She nods, accepting this truth. Thank you for letting us be here, for letting us see what you've built. I'm still deciding what our relationship looks like going forward, I tell her honestly. Some days I'm angry, some days I'm sad, but I'm working through it. That's more than we deserve. Maybe it is, or maybe it's exactly what I need, the chance to rewrite the story on my own terms. Marcus and I host Thanksgiving at our home that year. The dining room table extends to accommodate everyone. Eleanor and her husband, Marcus's siblings and their families, my colleagues from the foundation, Sophia and several other scholarship recipients, Aunt Patricia, and yes, my parents. The gathering is loud, chaotic, full of laughter and overlapping conversations. Children run through the house. Someone starts a debate about politics that gets good-naturedly heated before Marcus's father redirects to safer topics. Sophia shows everyone her latest photography project on her phone. At the head of the table, I look around at the collection of people who chose to be here. Not all of them are blood relatives. Most aren't. But they're family in the way that matters. Present, supportive, genuinely interested in each other's lives. Mother helps me serve dessert. Her movement's uncertain in my kitchen. She's trying, I can see that. Small attempts at connection. Asking about my work, complimenting the meal, laughing at Marcus's jokes. It's awkward, Stilted, years of distance impossible to bridge in a single evening. But it's something. "This is lovely," she says quietly as we plate slices of pumpkin pie. "Your home, the people you've gathered, you've built a beautiful life. Thank you. I wish I'd been part of it from the beginning." "So do I admit. But we can't change the past. We can only decide what happens next." She nods, blinking back tears. "I'd like to be part of what happens next, if you'll let me." "I'm working on it, Mother. That's all I can promise right now." "That's enough." Later, as guests are leaving, Father pulls me aside. "I know you haven't decided about pressing charges against Derek, but I wanted you to know. Whatever you choose, we'll support you. He made his choices. You shouldn't have to carry the burden of his consequences. He's your son. You're our daughter. We failed to prioritize that for 33 years. We're not making that mistake again." It's a revolutionary statement from a man who once told me Derek was going places while I was just doing hobbies. Growth is possible, even at 70. 3 years after the wedding that changed everything, I stand in the sunlit studio of the Luminary Foundation. Morning light filters through the tall windows, casting golden patterns across the polished hardwood floor. Sophia adjusts her camera settings, preparing for a photo shoot with our newest scholarship recipients. "What do you think about this angle?" she asks, looking up at me with the confidence of someone who knows her worth. "Try moving it slightly to the left," I suggest. "Catch how the light falls across the subject." She makes the adjustment, takes a few test shots, nods in satisfaction. "Perfect. Thanks, Isabelle." On the wall behind her, photos document our scholarship recipients' achievements. Gallery showings, published works, award ceremonies, moments of triumph that might never have happened without support. Each frame represents a voice that might have been silenced, just as mine nearly was. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus. "Dinner tonight? Eleanor wants to know if your parents are coming too." I smile. The question is casual now, normalized. My parents have become part of our extended family gathering, though still peripheral, still earning their place with each interaction. It's not the relationship I dreamed of as a child, but it's honest, real, built on truth rather than obligation. "I've finished the final cut of my documentary," Sophia says, straightening up from her camera. "Would you watch it with me?" We move to the editing bay, where her project plays on the high-definition monitor. The documentary follows 3 generations of women in a rural Washington family, their struggles and resiliences beautifully captured through Sophia's lens. The storytelling is nuanced, complex, unflinching in its honesty about family dysfunction and healing. When the final credits roll, Sophia turns to me, her eyes bright. "You're the reason I believe I can do this. Tell these kinds of stories." I think of Mrs. Chen, my elementary school art teacher, how she recognized something in me when my own parents couldn't be bothered, how her belief sustained me through years of family indifference. Now the cycle continues, not of neglect, but of genuine support. "You did the work," I tell Sophia, pulling her into a hug. "I just held the door open." But it's more than that, and we both know it. It's about being seen, about having someone validate your potential when the people who should do it by default have failed. It's about breaking cycles and building new patterns. Later that week, I stand at the podium of the Seattle Center for the Arts, accepting a Community Leadership Award. The audience applauds, a sea of faces turned toward me with appreciation, not pity. Marcus sits in the front row, beaming with unrestrained pride. My parents sit 3 rows back, their presence still tentative but consistent. Eleanor gives me a thumbs up. There are no empty seats causing me pain tonight. No phantom family members I wish were here. Every person in this room sees me, truly sees me for who I am. "Thank you," I begin, my voice steady and strong. This journey began in invisibility and has led to impact. For years, I measured my worth by the approval I couldn't earn from people who refused to give it. I chased validation from sources that were, by design, always going to withhold it. I pause, letting my gaze sweep across the room. But I learned something crucial. Being invisible to the wrong people doesn't make you invisible. It just means you're looking for validation in the wrong places. So I stopped looking there. I built my own visibility. I created my own value. And I used those tools to help others do the same. The standing ovation washes over me like a cleansing wave. I see Sophia in the audience, tears streaming down her face. I see colleagues who've become friends, friends who've become family. I see Marcus's relatives who welcomed me without reservation. And yes, I see my parents, standing and applauding, their faces reflecting pride and regret in equal measure. My therapist calls it post-traumatic growth. This strange peace I've found in accepting that some wounds never fully heal. They just become part of the story. The scars remain, but they don't define me. They inform me, guide me toward the work I do now. I maintain careful boundaries with extended family. Holiday gatherings still sometimes trigger old pain, but I've learned to recognize it, sit with it, and let it pass. I don't pretend everything is fine. I don't perform forgiveness I don't feel. But I also don't hold on to anger that no longer serves me. Driving home through Seattle in my Porsche, I pass the coffee shop where I once met Marcus for our first date, where he listened to my dreams with genuine interest. Through the window, I catch a glimpse of my parents walking on the sidewalk, returning to their modest apartment in Renton. Our eyes meet briefly. I don't stop. There's no pain in this moment, only peaceful acknowledgement. They're working on being better, attending therapy, trying to understand the damage they caused. Whether that work results in full reconciliation remains to be seen. For now, it's enough that they're trying. They taught me what love isn't, I realize as I drive on. Ethan and this work taught me what it is. Tomorrow, Sophia will lead a workshop for new scholarship recipients. I'll be there, camera in hand, showing techniques I've mastered over years of refusing to be invisible. Next month, we're expanding the foundation to include a residency program. Young women will live, work, and create together, building community and confidence. At home, Marcus has dinner ready. The table is set, wine is poured, and he's made my favorite meal. As we eat, he tells me about his day, about a sustainable building project he's designing, about the ways he's also trying to make the world better. I'm proud of you, he says, raising his glass, for everything you've built, for the boundaries you've set, for the grace you've shown even when you didn't have to. I'm proud of us, I correct. We built this together. Together, he agrees. Later in bed, I think about the girl I was, 8 years old, standing in a living room, holding an art certificate that no one wanted to acknowledge. I think about the woman I became, desperate for approval, chasing validation that would never come, measuring my worth by their indifference. And I think about who I am now, a woman who built her own visibility, who created value on her own terms, who chose her family rather than being chosen by them, a woman who turned pain into purpose, invisibility into impact. Family isn't who raises you, I've learned. It's who lifts you. It's who sees you when you walk into a room. It's who celebrates your victories without resentment and holds you through defeat without judgment. It's who shows up, consistently and without condition. Blood doesn't guarantee any of that, but choice does. I reach for Marcus's hand in the darkness. He squeezes back, a silent conversation married couples have. We're building something here, brick by brick, choice by choice. A foundation stronger than blood ties, more resilient than obligation, more honest than expectation. And for the first time in my life, I feel truly, completely seen. Not by the people I spent 33 years wanting to impress, but by the people who matter, myself, my partner, my chosen family, the young women whose lives I've touched, whose lives have touched mine in return. I close my eyes, peace settling over me like a blanket. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges, its own moments of doubt and growth. But tonight, in this moment, I am exactly where I need to be. Visible, valued, home.